there's something which I think could be pretty fascinating actually for the future of Hedera if it were to maybe even happen. What do I mean by this, even though nothing I say is financial advice? So recently it was announced how something called T Rowe, right? Or should I say T Rowe Price, they were seeking to expand Wall Street's altcoin portfolio. Now, what do they mean by this? So this asset manager, or should I say this around $1.8 trillion asset manager, right? Their amendment number 2 listed 14 eligible projects basically. And guess who's one of the 14? It's supposedly HBAR. So I find this to be pretty interesting. Now, what could happen as a result of this? We'll wait and see. But I don't think it would be a bad thing if they did do this, because why not, right? If more institutions out there do care about Hedera, maybe, why would that be a bad thing? I do find this to be pretty cool because supposedly they say how this fund will actively hold 5 to 15 of those projects basically at any time. And they're going to be weighted by fundamentals, valuation, and also the momentum. And they say they're going to be focusing on this as opposed to the market cap. So again, I think what that showcases is that increasingly more and more enterprises out there are caring more so about the fundamentals of a project, right? Maybe in the retail side of things, the only thing they focus on is the charts, but sometimes I feel like these enterprises want to take a look at the technology, the kind of fundamentals behind a project. So if anything, I think this is actually a pretty cool step for Hedera maybe moving forward if they could do that, because Hedera Hashgraph doesn't even utilize traditional blockchain technology. Instead, it uses something called a directed acyclic graph. So it's just a little bit different than some other projects out there. Some other projects out there, they're using traditional blockchain technology. However, Hedera Hashgraph, it's just different. That's the way you take a look at it. One's Sizzler, the other one's a gourmet restaurant. It's just a little bit different. But I like Sizzler. That's the way you take a look at it. But yeah, besides that point, that's just kind of an analogy that I have, right? It's just to kind of showcase two different ecosystems, I guess, if that's even an analogy. But yeah, besides that point though, here's the thing. HBAR as of right now, people are saying, well, it's still around 30 times lower than $3. Who cares about this? Well, here's the thing. First of all, if something is low, why would that be a bad thing for dollar cost averaging? If anything, I'd actually like it even more for that purpose, right? Keep in mind, yes, HBAR again is around 30 times lower than $3, but if it never sees $3 for whatever reason moving forward, I mean, we'll wait and see, but I'm saying if it never does that, and let's say just return back to its previous levels, right? I'm not saying, 5 years ago or whatever. Let's just say it goes back to 2025 in January. The market cap was literally around 13 billion at one point. I mean, around 13 billion, guess what's the market cap as of right now when it comes to HBAR? It's around 4.2 billion. So again, we're basically over 3 times lower in terms of market cap when compared to just slightly over a year ago. I mean, isn't that kind of like ridiculous? I think in a good way though, right? Why? Even though it may seem counterintuitive, like why is it a good thing if something had such a major pullback? Well, it's because now, if it could return back to that point, again, we're literally over 3 times lower than that. So as of right now, currently, things are starting kind of low. Again, not really. I mean, the pullback hasn't been too extensive, but it's relatively speaking kind of a low point compared to back then, right? So if I just dollar cost average right now, goes back to that, oh my goodness, I'm going to Sizzler. But besides that point though, we'll wait and see, right? I mean, I can't control this. It could maybe never go back there, but I just don't think January was an altcoin season. I mean, like how? January of 2025, again, I don't think was an altcoin season in my opinion. But when it comes to Hedera, after all, people like to say, oh, it's cooked and all this. I don't think so. I mean, HBAR is a top 25 project in the world as of right now in terms of market cap within this space. So again, the pullback hasn't really been like so detrimental to the point that it's like now the 100th ranked project or the 200th ranked project. That's not the case. It's still in the top 25 as of right now. So it's not like it's done that bad in the grand scheme of things comparatively to some other projects out there. I mean, HBAR is not really doing anything that is unheard of when it comes to altcoins. Why do I say that? When it comes to other projects out there, what did they do? They had a pullback, right? Literally, so did HBAR. It's not like HBAR is the only one that did that. Some of my friends out there seem to think, for whatever reason, that HBAR is so bad and all this. And again, it's their opinion, it's their, own mindset, right? I can't control that. But I just kind of feel like if other projects are having a pullback, it's basically the same thing that we're seeing when it comes to HBAR. But I don't want to ignore a project, usually, if I'm a fan of it, when it's low, because what happens? Usually, most people care about a project after the journey has already happened. But I don't want to wait for that because it literally doesn't make any sense to me. At that point, the journey has already basically happened, right? I want to be a part of that journey, though. I don't want to wait for it to happen before I believe in it. I want to believe in it before the journey basically happens. I mean, the way I take a look at it is this. It's like, let's say I go inside a movie theater, like after the movie is played for over an hour. It's like, oh, come on. At that point, I don't even really know what happens in the movie anymore. I have to rewatch it. That's annoying. What's my other option? I try to look at my phone and, see what the movie's about. That's boring. So it's just kind of like being late to a movie at that point, if I wait later. At that point, it's like, yeah, again, the movie has already kind of happened. It's a bit too late. But sometimes if I go early inside the movie theater, maybe there's not that many people there, but at least I can watch the movie in its entirety. That's the way to take a look at it and be a part of that journey and actually understand the story without having to rewatch it later. So sometimes that's kind of the analogy that I have. I feel like this space is a little bit like a movie sometimes, right? I don't want to wait for the movie to finish before I care about something. And that's just the way to take a look at it, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But when I take a look at something like HBAR, again, I don't think it's such a bad project in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I think it's actually pretty interesting to me. If I take a look at, let's say, Hedera's governing council, right? We see something like, for instance, Dell. Dell is really massive. We also take a look at something like Google. Google is also very massive, right? We also take a look at, for instance, something called Mondelez, which is yet again very massive. One of their brands is Oreo, by the way. That's in the Hedera Governing Council too. We even saw FedEx not too long ago. And yes, you heard that right. I'm talking about like FedEx, the one that's basically a competitor when it comes to UPS. Again, FedEx recently joined the Hedera Council. So why is Hedera suddenly a bad project? I don't agree with that, actually, personally, in my mind. It also recently had a partnership with McLaren Racing, by the way, right? McLaren Racing, I mean, that's pretty popular. So overall, as of right now, I mean, I don't see what bad thing happened to Hedera other than the price charts. But if anything, what does this indicate to me? I feel like maybe there's one missing ingredient because I already see the fundamentals, right? I already see the good amount of holders when it comes to HBAR. I already see somewhat of the institutional adoption or planned institutional adoption as well when it comes to Hedera. I already see all that. I already see the listings when it comes to HBAR. I think it's pretty decent. However, what's that missing hypothetical ingredient? Maybe. I feel like it's an altcoin season. Or maybe not even an altcoin season. Maybe a little bit of the seasoning is all that it needs. If the sentiment could maybe just go back to January of 2025, at that point, I don't even need an altcoin season if it could do that. Because again, we're over 3 times lower than that. But of course, I'd be happier the higher it went if there was an altcoin season. But I'm saying, if it did go back to January of 2025, I'm already really happy. But again, $3, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me either, I suppose, when it comes to HBAR, because at that point, the market cap when it comes to HBAR, considering its current circulating supply, again, the market cap at that point would be around 128 billion. We've seen BNB reach over 100 billion in terms of market cap back in 2021. Like, I don't know if this sounds like such a ridiculous market cap, but we'll wait and see, especially for something like Hedera Hashgraph, right? I mean, it doesn't even use traditional blockchain technology, but we'll wait and see again. So anywhere between like around a 15 billion market cap all the way up until to around 128 billion in terms of market cap, there's zero complaints on my end, but yeah, we'll wait and see. But either way, at that range right there, again, from around 15 billion all the way up till around 128 billion, anywhere it goes there, no complaints on my part when it comes to HBAR, but we'll wait and see. I mean, I can't control anything when it comes to this, but I'm still waiting and I'm still staying patient, but I am not telling anyone to do anything. However, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's been Lee the Captain, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.